here's Brody Brazil.
If I'm being completely honest, the real motivation for even making this video on this subject and this topic is frustration. Because this story, and it's different names and faces every single time, but this storyline keeps happening over and over again. Another betting scandal in professional sports, the rise of prop bets and online gaming, it leads itself right into another league having significant issues. And I'll tell you two acronyms you really don't want to put together: FBI and NBA. Right now, there's a huge betting scandal that was just exposed this morning with NBA players and a head coach of a team. There's Chauncey Billups. More on all the details in just a second, but I really need to lay this out here. I don't have an interest in covering this story. It's the same thing over and over again, but the frustrating part is that it keeps happening, and there is no end, and there is no end game in sight. How do we control this? How do we get this to stop? How do we get back to just sports being innocent sports and not the gaming aspect, which kind of behind the scenes has really taken over? And I found this interesting, the coverage this morning on ESPN on Get Up, the show that's hosted by a panel here. And there's the chyron, we call it, the lower third, we call it, the graphic at the bottom of the screen that tells you what the topic is that they're talking about. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups arrested as part of gambling investigation. So that's all normal, but take a look at that ticker on the bottom of the screen. At the very same time as we're talking about people being arrested and indicted due to sports involvement of wagering and gambling and affecting outcomes and having sensitive information being passed on to bettors, we're also saying, hey, come play with the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Bet $10 and get $100. And by the way, they quickly took that graphic off the ticker, off the screen midway through this conversation. But like that right there is kind of what we're dealing with in professional sports, really in sports in general here in 2025. In this particular case, let's talk about what happened and this wide-scale investigation by the FBI. It's crazy because not all of these people and situations are even related, but the FBI caught all of them at once and released their investigation and what they were doing and the people they arrested. They kind of did this all in the background and then are presenting the information now that it's gone public. Chauncey Billups, the Trailblazers head coach, former NBA player, but current head coach of the Portland basketball team, has been arrested. Same thing with Terry Rozier, the Miami Heat guard, and Damon Jones, former Cavs player and former assistant coach of the Cavs, has also been arrested. All of these gentlemen arrested with 31 other individuals across 11 states. And I do want to point this out. This investigation, the people that have been arrested because of this, it goes much wider and deeper than just those in professional sports. I do want to lay that out. And they're all for different reasons, but I'm just trying to isolate here on one topic, one aspect in this video, in this coverage, the fact that these sports leagues cannot distance themselves from problems like this. Let's talk about some of the allegations. Rozier and other defendants, quote, had access to private information known by NBA players or NBA coaches, which were likely to impact outcomes. The FBI put this out. That was part of the reasoning here of arresting these individuals. U.S. Attorney from New York's Eastern District, Joseph Nocella Jr., hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, said this was, quote, one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States, which was only a couple years ago. We're not talking about forever ago, but the fact that Rozier and other defendants, they're saying, had access to private information which could alter or impact a basketball game and how people bet on it, that is a bad thing. That's a very bad thing. I don't think I need to explain that how bad that is. Coverage from ESPN says this: sportsbooks in multiple states flagged suspicious betting interest on Rozier's statistics ahead of a Charlotte Hornets and New Orleans Pelicans game back on March 23rd of 2023. That's the other thing. All of these games and all the evidence that they've got, this wasn't just yesterday or last week. They've been working on this diligently for years behind the scenes. An unexpected surge of bets back in March of 2023, including 30 wagers in 46 minutes from a professional bettor totaling $13,759, came in on the under on Rozier's points, rebounds, and assists, causing sportsbooks to halt betting on the veteran guard. Right? It's these prop bets. It's these very specific bets where if you know something about one individual, you don't even have to know the outcome of the game or control the game result. You're just betting on one individual's controllable performance. Rozier, by the way, then with the Hornets, played just 10 minutes in the game before leaving the game, citing a foot injury. And oh yeah, I should also mention this, if I didn't before, basketball has already banned some individuals for life within the last couple years. This is a problem, again, that just continues to happen, and there really is no end in sight. Chauncey Billups charged in a totally separate indictment, quote, alleging a wide-range scheme to rig underground poker games. And also, according to ESPN, the defendants are accused of using technology to steal more than $7 million from victims in the New York area. And wait until you hear about these poker games, allegedly, and these are all the allegations from ESPN. Nocella said the poker scheme targeted victims known as fish, who were lured to participate in the rigged games with the chance to play alongside former athletes who are known as face cards. Hey, you want to play poker with Chauncey Billups? Billups was one of those celebrities, Nocella said. The games were rigged through sophisticated cheating technology, ESPN says, such as altered card shuffling machines, hidden cameras in poker chip trays, special sunglasses, and X-ray equipment built into the table to read the cards of unsuspecting players. So there's that one. And then as for Jones, allegedly he provided inside information about NBA games to co-defendants who used it to place sports bets. All of that according to ESPN. So a lot of allegations, a lot that's been out there. Coincidentally, just yesterday, Adam Silver was on the Pat McAfee show. They were talking about sports betting. And Adam Silver said this very directly, and I'm sure as commissioner of the NBA, this news coming out today was not news to him. He may have been trying to get ahead of this. If you really think about how did this topic come up on an ESPN program, ESPN and NBA are partners, right? So like this came up almost intentionally. Here's what Adam Silver said yesterday. Quote, we've asked some of our partners, betting partners, to pull back some of the prop bets, especially when they're on two-way players, right? Guys who don't have the same stake in the competition where it's too easy to manipulate something, which seems otherwise small and inconsequential to the overall score. Again, is this player going to get, is Rozier going to get 5 points or 10 points above or below that? That's a lot more easy to control. And I already saw somebody posting highlights of that specific game where he was really bad. And I think people are almost trying to show you, like, look how bad he is here almost on purpose. We're trying to put in place, learning as we go and working with potential betting companies, some additional control to prevent some of that manipulation. So the NBA is already aware of this. This is on their radar, but they're also saying here, well, we're not going to quit our relationship with the betting partners. We're not going to suspend it. We're just going to keep working along with it. And so that brings me here to some takeaways. The timing of this news release, obviously awful for the NBA. They're just starting a season. They're just showcasing the brand new NBA on NBC graphics. Opening night, night number 2, more games to be played, first games of every team's season. Like, it's not like they had a choice in this. This was the FBI's doing. This is the FBI's investigation. But how bad is it that all of this transpires right after the start of an NBA season? They could have handled this differently in the offseason. I mean, you literally now have a Portland Trailblazers team without their head coach. And I don't know the ramifications for Billups or Rozier. Like, immediately, are they just suspended? Is it like, how does this go? We're too early in the game to understand that part of it. But yeah, one team is minus its head coach. That's kind of a big deal. All of this, the problems that the league can't get away from, it's inconvenient, but yeah, it strains the business in terms of sponsors and partners and all the FanDuels and DraftKings out there and underdogs and you name it. Like, here they are wanting to work with the NBA, but now the NBA's like, it's like that Drake meme of like, we can't do this right now. We're kind of going through it. And we're getting used to more scandals like this. It keeps happening like this, and games are illegitimate. And we've already had, a referee scandal from multiple decades ago, and players have been banned for life, and now this. And we've got 2 Major League Baseball players right now who were taken aside from the Cleveland Guardians about mid-season and never came back. A pitcher, a starter, and a closer on the Cleveland Guardians, and that's an ongoing situation. So what is the end game here? I think that's my frustration in all of this. That's kind of the focus in all of this, is that how do we get past this? How do we move past it so that there is not a betting scandal again? We're not at the point anymore of having to think about this or talk about this or be suspect of anything fishy going on in professional sports, or to find things out like this. How does this end? I think that's my main question, and that's why I'm even covering this. It continues, and we'll obviously keep an eye on it. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you back here next time.